Greetings and welcome to the Power Gamer Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Dawson, joined as always by fellow hosts Johnny Paulus and Kim Ponticello. Johnny, we'll start with you this week. Johnny, welcome in. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. It's been a long week at work, so I'm very excited for Friday and doing my gig thing. I am a tired boy. I'm gonna finish this podcast and go to bed, and that's unlike me. So it has been just and not like excessively bad or anything like that. It's just one of those weeks where you're just like every day you just feel like you're just grinding.
It's like the past 3 fucking weeks for you, my man.
Yeah, it's been.
Did the Golgothan shit demon finally clear your water supply?
You mean water?
Yes.
Right.
No, the water's all good. The water's all good. No, water's good. Power's good. All of the issues with the house are fine. That's all settled. So thank God that shit is behind us. But no, and now I'm playing Waterman's, my local tavern, 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
I was booked for last week, like a month or two ago, and then they texted me the week before and we're like, "Are you available Friday? We just had a cancellation." "Yeah, I'm available." I'm like, "All right, cool." I'm like, "Sweet, back-to-back Friday gigs right by my house." What? And then I'm wrapping up my second gig, and they're like, "Oh, we got a cancellation for next week. You want to play?" I'm like, 3 weeks in a row? Man, y'all just put me on the rotation now. Just have me here every Friday. I'll cancel all my other gigs.
Yeah, I mean, to a place that you can literally walk to from your house.
That pays me better than any other gig that I do. Yes, I would just,
That's great.
Just go ahead and just sign me up.
Kim,
Yes.
welcome in.
Thank
How are
you.
you doing this week?
Other than this stupid pinched nerve in my shoulder, I'm doing
It's still
fantastic.
bugging you.
It is still bothering me. This is as high as I can lift my arm. I hate it. Like, I literally can't do anything more than this, and it's making me crazy because it's stopping me from doing things I need to do. But whatever. Other than that, I'm absolutely fantastic. Things have been great. I got an amazing. I just have to like plug here. I got an amazing Ubisoft raid again while I was playing Skull and Bones.
You did.
Nice.
And
It was a sticky one too. It stuck around.
Stuck around, and the Skull and Bones community is like one of the best communities. I swear, everybody is just so chill. And even one of my mods messaged me tonight and was like, "Dude, that was such a vibe because everybody just kind of stuck around and was super chill. Nobody gave a hard time. It was absolutely fantastic." So yeah,
That's
doing
awesome.
good.
Yeah, I think that's the third time?
No, second time.
Second
time.
Yeah.
Second time.
They're always watching after my friends, it seems, because
Makes me happy. Yeah, RTM got one. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. He was crushing it today. So
Yep.
yeah, it's that degree of separation where it's like I support these people, and yeah, Ubisoft just keeps dumping bodies into their channels.
Awesome.
It's very cool.
It's awesome.
I had a strange phone call today. So, as you all know, and I've told our listeners, I recently, like at Christmas time, went through like this completely like brown pants, holy shit life change where I had to change jobs very suddenly.
Mm-hmm.
And everything went fine. I love my new job. I'm settled in very nicely there now, and I've kind of gotten back into my normal life rotation, so things are good. But I still get calls where people assume that I still work at my former company. And technically, anyone that calls that number is now one of my competitors. And they're calling to dump information to me that would be pretty sensitive that you wouldn't want to share to one of your competitors. So I get a phone call from a higher up in one of the biggest companies in all of the United States. And he starts in, I go, whoa, hang on. I got to tell you something first. I'm not working there anymore. I work for blank. I'm not going to disclose my employer on here.
Yeah.
And he goes, whoa. And that's huge. And I go, yeah, it's a big change. It was real unexpected, but that's where I landed. He goes, I'm really upset you didn't call me for a job.
Huh.
He goes, I would hire you in a heartbeat. And he said, and I will pay you more. And he goes into this whole pitch about, paying me more and all this, and you can work anywhere you want. And, just really going in hard on the pitch for my employment. And I'm completely flattered. But at the end of it, I said, man, I really appreciate that. But these guys saved me from an absolute brown pants moment of holy shit, my whole life just got flipped upside down. I said, I'm going to stick with them while I'm learning this business. But, kind of left it at, hey, if something comes up again, I will make sure that you're the first person I call, kind of thing.
Awesome.
And
Cool.
yeah, it's just so weird, because I don't know how people perceive me that don't know me very well, but I'm a fucking moron. Okay. And I mean, Johnny knew me when I was younger. I didn't go to school. I was into dumb shit constantly, but I have just like always had this golden horseshoe up my ass when it comes to like doing well at my jobs or getting promotions or falling into new opportunities. And like, I really think it just comes down to that I'm always cognizant in trying to do my best and just be good to the people who pay me and good to my customers. And like, I'm really finding like that this weird realization as I've gotten, as I'm nearing 40, that like that has gotten me further in life than if I had gone to school, if I had, followed the golden path, so to speak. I've gotten so much further just by not being a shithead to people than I ever would have gotten with like traditional school or anything. So, maybe one of you all out there listening can maybe that helps in some way. Just, if you're not where you want to be, don't be hard on the people around you, and just keep your head up and keep putting out good energy. Because just by chance I got into this career just by being nice to a guy that used to come into me and Johnny's old store, that everybody else used to run the fuck away from, because he'd talk to you for like 3 hours and you wouldn't be selling. But I'd stay there and I'd talk to him the whole time, and it wound up leading me on this whole career path that I never otherwise would have expected to be on. So be excellent to people is, I guess, what I'm saying. Just kind of had one of those weird reminders today on an unexpected phone call that that's really done a lot for me. So kind of a good feeling tidbit here to start the episode, start this week.
Heck yeah. That's awesome.
Guys, it's episode 150.
Yay!
Of
baby.
your Power Gamer podcast. That means we've been doing this for close to, Johnny, this is our 3rd year.
Jesus Christ, that's crazy.
We started this it was about February, if I remember correctly, that the first episode came out. So we're around that 3-year mark here. We're so happy that Kim has joined us. Everything's onwards and upwards. The show is doing well. So thank you all out there for your support. For when you leave us shitty YouTube comments apologizing, like, it's so weird. Unsolicited apologies too. So we appreciate our listeners wherever you find us. And I've said it enough times, if you feel so compelled, like the activity on the platform on which you're engaging it, we appreciate it.
There's never saying that enough. I'm just going to throw that out there. Don't say you've said that enough times. Everybody, please please subscribe, please do everything to say, hey, this podcast is amazing and I want it to keep succeeding. I want them to keep going.
Tell your coworkers, tell your friends.
Everybody.
Somebody's talking about video games, go, hey, you should check out this podcast.
Absolutely.
I'm still going to do it every week because I hate you all.
That's fair.
And you're going to have to hear it every single week. Right. We're making some changes this week. Yes. Kind of a back to some of our old energy.
Yep.
Okay. We're starting off this week with a brand new segment. That's right. Have you ever wondered, why isn't that a thing? There's so many great ideas that if somebody would just fucking pay us to sit in that boardroom, to sit on that call, we could make these gaming companies millions of dollars. And every single one of you listening out there, you have those ideas too, that you know, without a shadow of a doubt, would be a smash hit if somebody would just fucking make it. And we're all that smart. Why aren't the guys that make these decisions, why aren't they as smart as us? Right? Well, that's the energy we're putting down here in this first segment, which is entitled, Why Isn't That a Thing? Now, with this being a new segment, I'm going to be the honorary first sacrifice. I'll go first.
Sounds good.
Last year, I played through. I wanted to revisit an old friend, Marcus Phoenix. Yes, my gruff cog warrior. And it was very easy getting started. Sat down with the Gears of War remaster that was released fairly recently. And had a great time playing it co-op natively on the Xbox Series X. And then I got to Gears 2. And Gears 2 is still stuck on the Xbox 360. And if you want to play it with a friend on your Xbox or wherever, you have to sign in to your 360 account. You have to, if they're not already on your Xbox 360 friends list, you have to put them there and then invite them from that separate menu within Xbox, which you have to do. I don't even remember the combination on the controller you have to hit to bring up the 360 Xbox menu, but there's a special thing you hit to bring up the old Xbox 360 interface and invite them to your game that way. So like, it's this huge pain in the ass to figure out. Would you believe that Gears 2, 3, and Judgment are all still this way, even with 4 and 5 being out on Game Pass? And undoubtedly, they have to be working on a sequel to 5. I mean, there's no way they're just going to leave us off how that game ended. No spoilers. So my question is this. We've seen a lot of great remasters and updates and collections, looking at you, Master Chief Collection. But there is no Gears of War collection that has been brought to modern platforms. Why isn't that a thing? I mean, I'm pretty well under the impression that the biggest Xbox franchises are Halo, Gears of War, Forza, everything else. So we're not talking about a small entity here. We're literally talking about the second biggest Xbox franchise, the one that pushed the 360 ahead of the PlayStation when they had that little moment where they were winning the entire world. It was on the back of Gears of War.
Yep.
Those games are all sitting on Game Pass, and playing them with a pal or playing them by yourself is a huge fucking pain in the ass. So, Microsoft Game Studios, Gears of War collection. Why isn't that a thing? That should totally be something that exists. And I think people would love it. And I mean, if you put it out for sale on other platforms, obviously you're not going to sell it on Xbox because it's just on Game Pass. But if you put it out where people could buy it, people would buy it. Please make us a Gears of War collection, Xbox. Johnny, Kim, I don't know if you have anything to add to that. If it means anything to you, the Gears of War collection. That one's very near and dear to my heart.
I love Gears of War. I played Gears 1, 2, and 3. And Xbox actually gave me Gears 5.
Oh,
and
damn.
I never touched it because I heard it was so bad.
Oh, no. You would love Gears 5.
But I have it. Xbox was like, would you like to play this game? So I have yet to play it. However, I did play through the first 3 Gears. I loved Gears of War, like a lot. I loved it a lot. There have been rumors that there is going to be a remastered collection. Like as early as this past January, they were saying that there's already internal testing going on, but then others are saying, we don't know that that's true. So it's really interesting because there's this like weird cloud of like nobody kind of knows what's going on because they've said it, like it's been mentioned, and there's been like rumors that it's being worked on, but then it's been dispelled that it's really weird. It's this really bizarre thing because everybody wants it. Like it would be so smart. It would be I know I'd get it in a heartbeat. I'd love a remastered Gears collection, absolutely.
And all the merch and stuff that you could sell alongside of it with like collector's editions, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. And it's been so long since we've had anything fresh from Gears. Like I don't know what's
we
going on.
haven't even like heard anything. There ain't even rumors or nothing. I mean, it's just silence.
Yeah, it's been too long. And 4 and 5, Kim, are fantastic, and you will totally love the changes that are made. But definitely play through 4 before you touch 5. That's very critical. Okay. And I would actually say Judgment is like super underrated. That game's really good, and it ties into 4 and 5 more heavily than I think people realize. There's a lot of callbacks to Judgment in 4 and 5, and that game's good. So, right. Let's go to Johnny Paulus. What have you got, sir?
Well, you see, there's this video game franchise that I feel pushed the genre of first-person shooters so far into the stratosphere to a point where we didn't realize that video games could do the shit that this video game did. And in fact, it did so well that the company that developed that game then made a sequel that was even fucking better and pushed it even further and was so successful that they run the biggest shop on PC gaming in the world. If you haven't figured it out yet, I'm talking about Valve and Half-Life. Where the fuck is Half-Life 3? Why is this not a thing? I don't get it, okay? But then, as soon as I thought of that, then I thought of, it's actually kind of a common thing with first-person shooters. There are all these franchises. We keep getting reboots and remasters of every other, like, platformer and racing game and this and that. But there is a ton of first-person shooters that are just, like, left on the side of the road for no reason. Why have we never had another Turok?
Dude, Turok is like, so what the good.
Fuck? If they just made a modern, next-gen graphics level Turok, everybody would see the trailer and be like, let's fucking go. Turok's back. I mean, why not, right? The list gets worse. What about Hexen, Heretic? Do you want to play a modern first-person shooter that plays like one of those games? Many developers have tried, but id Software or Raven Software, the developers of those games, could very easily just bring that franchise back. Heretic and Hexen were fucking awesome. Soldier of Fortune, one of my favorite first-person shooters of all time. Second one was a little bit of a dud, but then they haven't done anything with that in 20 years. What about Unreal? What about Duke Nukem? Duke Nukem had one miss that we waited like 18 years on, and then they just went, well, I guess Duke Nukem's dead. Like, no.
It was so good. It was so bad. It was good.
Pitch. Here's a sales pitch, video game developers, okay? This new trend now where we're doing 3D games, but we're doing the kind of cool pixely sort of old schooly graphics, like Valheim sort of had that. Give me Duke Nukem that's that. You don't even have to put a big budget in it. It doesn't even have to be next-gen graphics. It can be old school, pixely shooting sprites. Just make a fun story, put Duke Nukem on the title, and make some money. It's right there.
Are you saying that the latest Duke Nukem wasn't good?
The latest Duke Nukem was dog shit, yes.
What do you mean? You slapped wall boobies.
Oh, Duke Nukem Forever is so bad. I'm not even going to have this discussion with you. It's like, I was like appalled at how bad it was. You don't understand. Like,
I had so much
remember when
fun
Duke
playing
Nukem-
it though.
I remember when Duke Nukem 3D came out, and I had the fucking CD-ROM. I was like shitting myself that I'd played the demo, but now I got the whole game. Oh my god, Duke Nukem! And then we waited all that time for the sequel. I think I played it for 30 minutes and was like, I'm just gonna just kill everybody. That's what
I
I'm gonna
played
do.
through that entire game on stream. I did it. I sucked it up, and I did it. And I slapped all the wall boobies, and I loved every second
It
of
was
it.
hilarious.
What about Descent?
Yeah, Johnny, I actually have a really interesting tidbit to add to your conversation here.
Let's do it.
Because it's almost like, why isn't Raven Software being allowed to make games again that aren't Call of Duty a thing?
Yeah.
Because they made Heretic, they made Hexen and Hexen 2,
Yep.
they made Soldier of Fortune, they made Jedi Knight 2, Quake 4, that was Raven, Wolfenstein, Singularity. Raven really got fucked.
Singularity's so fucking good.
By being sucked into the Activision fold.
That's a very good point. But no, there's just so many of these franchises that, like, I feel like if they just did it, they would print money. Because there's a lot of these franchises where it's like, well, it was really hot, and then they made like 2 or 3 really bad ones, and nobody really wants it anymore. But like every single one of those titles that I announced, I feel like somebody would see the trailer and be like, oh shit, oh my god, they brought it back. And then even like, why is there no first person shooter Star Wars? Like, I know we got Battlefront 2, but let's be real. We all bought it, and then we beat the campaign over the course of like a weekend, and then haven't thought about it since. But back in the early days of PC gaming, when we had like Jedi Academy and Dark Forces, we had all these amazing first person shooter Star Wars games. Where the fuck are they? Just print money. But I guess we're finally getting one with, no, not even Outlaws is first person, but that doesn't matter. Our game's going to be awesome.
Did you see in the Nintendo event this past week, the Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection that's just dropping on March 14th now?
Yeah, that's awesome. Especially on Switch. That's sick that you can... Those servers are going to be running till the end of time.
You know, another perfect why isn't that a thing is the unreleased sequel to those Battlefront, because it was done. It was done.
Ugh.
They just shelved it. Said,
angry.
No, we're not releasing that.
I'm so angry.
So yeah, fucking Half-Life 3. Why is it a thing? Valve, I'm gonna keep calling you out, okay? I know you fucking hear me. Where the fuck is Half-Life 3?
Did you see Half-Life Alyx? Did you watch any of that? My son played Half-Life Alyx.
I mean, it was VR only, so they're like, "Oh, we didn't make Half-Life 3, but you should give us like $800 for our fucking VR headset." No, sorry.
Yeah, that is a bummer. I really want to play that game.
I'm sure it's great. I want to play it.
Fantastic.
I'd love to play it, but I'm not buying an $800 VR headset. I'm just not. That's not on the menu.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of it on stream, but here's another why isn't that a thing? Why isn't it on all the other VR platforms?
Yeah.
Like, hasn't it run its course on Steam? Like,
yeah,
you can't port that to PSVR 2 or the Meta or anything.
I also don't understand why they haven't just ported it to a non-VR version of the game. I'm sure they could just take the game and make it work as a first-person shooter. If there's certain features in the game that require VR, maybe you take those out.
It's like a VR showcase kind of thing. So.
It really is. It really is. Yeah.
But it's so stupid that, you know, the top selling VR game every month for like the past fucking 5 years has been Beat Saber.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, if you look at the sales charts, I know I'm the nerd that does that. But it's Beat Saber literally every single month.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's great.
I want that Maestro game.
But imagine if like
where you can be a conductor.
The best game for the platform you support came out 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And there was nothing that ever even got close to it. You'd be pissed.
Not to completely derail, but I've heard Asgard's Wrath 2 is like incredible.
Yeah.
People are saying it's like the best VR game ever.
Everyone's like 10 out of 10ing it. And
yeah, 10 out of 10ing it all over the place.
It still
looks awesome.
Doesn't sell though. It's just Beat Saber.
I know. It's crazy.
Kim.
Yes.
It is your turn.
Yes, I'm going to talk about a game near and dear to my heart and very upsetting news around it. So, a while ago, American McGhee was like, hey, we have a Kickstarter up for Alice Asylum. And when I tell you the second it was announced, I was in heaven because Alice Madness Returns is. I played the original Alice. I played Alice Madness Returns, and I loved Alice Madness Returns. I played through it like 3 times, I think, and I'm going to be playing through it again on stream because I just love that game so much. And so I saw Alice Asylum, and I was like, "This is so exciting! Obviously, this is going to happen." Okay, why isn't it a thing? I mean, I can tell you why it's not a thing because EA refused to publish it, and they also refused to license the IP out. So they won't let it go. Kind of like, well, we're not going to let anybody else do it. We're not going to let anybody else do it, even though American McGhee busted their ass. The Kickstarter killed it. Fans, the cult following that game has, so many fans poured so much into it, and the Kickstarter did wonderfully, and EA was like, yeah, I get it, but yeah, no, we're not going to do it. So EA, why isn't this a thing? It's an amazing game, and a new one made now would be absolutely phenomenal. And the concept behind Asylum was amazing, and the art was fantastic, and oh my God, everything behind it was absolutely glorious. I literally almost had tears in my eyes when American McGhee was like, yeah, sorry, we're literally stuck. EA won't publish it, nor will they let anybody else publish it. So it's like stuck. American McGhee can't do anything. And it's sad.
Seems weird that he didn't work out the legalities of the IP before launching the Kickstarter. Or did he think he could make it happen and then they pulled the rug out from under him? Or
So the way that this all
probably
the way that this all went down is it is stupid, because let's just strip back all the layers. I mean, Johnny, you're onto something, but really the main thing is if I held the IP to, say, this game, okay, and I was never gonna make the sequel because I'm too busy making NFL every year. I'm too busy making Need for Speed and all these other things that EA's into. When you license a game to someone, you have no skin in the game. It's on them to make money, and you just get a straight rip off everything they get, right? So if EA just said you could use the IP, American McGhee would make the game, and he could even find an independent publisher to publish it, and EA would still get a rip of every single fucking dollar made off of it, right?
they lose nothing.
And
I
he's
don't understand.
begging to make the game. He's got the Kickstarter that's basically funding it. So he doesn't need money. He doesn't need you to publish. He just needs to be able to do it. And the game seems like it's actually pretty well fucking done in terms of the hard work, which is figuring out what the game is, what the story is. That's the hard part. The game series dates back to 2000. You know, the original cut of that game is like a really ugly, like, turn of the millennium game, but it's got rebuilt with that good old EA money back in the day of we own everything we publish, 2010 or 08, whenever that game came out on the 360. So yeah, it's completely ludicrous. And I mean, this is so recent, right? And I know it's not like a series that's like Half-Life 3 or Bloodborne, right, that like everyone's clamoring about. But the flip side of that is, if you made a game and it cost next to nothing to make, and you sold $1.5 million copies, that is a ton in today's number, with the amount of gamers that exist today that didn't exist, 14 years ago. 1.5 million is nothing to sneeze at. Most games, if they can sell in that region, they're thrilled. The new Tekken game just broke 2 million. That's fucking Tekken. and they're thrilled to have sold 2 million copies.
Yeah.
Back when this game came out on the 360, it sold 1.5 million copies. So there's like not even an argument that you can make that the game didn't sell well enough to justify having a sequel. Maybe you could make the argument that it's been too long, but you kind of can't with this because you already see the community out there and the crowdfunding that's behind it that just want to throw their cash at it.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't an Alan Wake 2 situation where Remedy went and made an incredible game that's an incredible sequel to a game that's 14 years old that nobody's fucking buying for some reason. This isn't that. You know, this is something that is going to cost very little to make, and the guy's begging to do it. Just license it out. Why isn't that a thing? It's completely
It's so
crazy.
sad. It's really sad. And it's really a shame because, I mean, I don't know, like, I know, Mike, you're not real big into TikTok, but it's so crazy because, what's that? Smick-smock. So the aesthetic of a new Alice game is just something so desirable right now. And I firmly believe it would do so well. And it's absolutely insane to me that I feel so bad because the developer literally just wants to make this game. He has so much love for Alice and wants to make this game, and the community loves it so much. I mean, all the art that people have put out, and it's just amazing. And
I'm looking at the wiki, and it's like 15 pages of like the characters and the story and the plots and the scenes. And I mean, they've got it all fucking worked out.
Yep.
You know, a AAA budget for a game like that would be 50 mil, right? This game doesn't need 50 mil to get made.
No.
You know, maybe 20 million to do the whole thing. Okay,
Yeah.
if he sells 1 million copies, right? At, let's say it's a $40 game. You're good.
Yeah.
It's great. There's no drawback for EA if they just want to license it to them. They don't have to put anything in it. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to assign a studio to it. Nothing. So yeah, no, that's a really good call out, Cal.
Well, and that's what's crazy about it with the EA thing. I mean, when I posed the question of what does EA have to lose, it's like, I mean, after you explain to me what's going on, it just seems like, because fuck you, that's why. Seems like basically EA's response. There's no reason why they wouldn't, especially when it's the guy who did the original. It's like that's them. That it's the same person. So why it's not some random dude was like, oh, I want to make the third. It's like, no, that's the person who made those games.
Nobody else would. I don't think nobody would want it if American McGhee wasn't the guy making it, right?
Correct.
No, I mean, there are some games coming out now that are inspired by Alice, that are in the process, but like nothing will ever be able to, they're all going to be like smaller games, nothing's going to be like a new Alice game. Nothing's going to be like another American McGhee game.
Lost in Random kind of gave me Alice vibes a little bit, just aesthetically, artistically.
Yeah.
It was, it kind of took me back to that. But yeah, no, I loved both of those games, and the sequel would be dope.
Well, if we could will these things into existence, we would all be millionaires. Just give us jobs. Just let us come in for a day. Johnny, you go to Valve. Kim,
with a baseball bat.
Kim, you go to EA. I'll go to Microsoft Game Studios, and we'll get this done. Okay?
Let's do it.
And then
let's go.
I don't know that I'm nice enough. I think they'd kick me out.
I mean, just go in there and be a bitch for a week, and then when we're all done being bitches, then we can just go meet on a beach in St. Thomas or something and retire and just catch up on our back catalog. I mean, come on.
Can we meet in Netherlands?
Yeah, that's fine too.
New Zealand. I want to live by Hobbiton. Y'all think I'm playing? I'm not.
New Zealand.
Not kidding.
I have a friend who moved to New Zealand.
I would be so charming with a New Zealand accent.
Let's hear that New Zealand accent, Johnny.
I can't do it. I'd have to move there. I'm not great at accents.
I don't know if it works that way. I don't know if like an accent makes you charming.
I think especially a New Zealand accent absolutely does.
Yeah, you think so?
It's like the nasally
right.
Australian.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. It's like what Boston is to the rest of the US is what New Zealand is to Australia.
That's a very good analogy.
Yeah. Anyway, now that our one listener in New Zealand fucking unsubscribed to our channel, let's move on.
No, we love you, New Zealand. We love you.
Guys, it is time for us to talk about the games we've been playing this week. I guess just to keep the round robin going here, I'll jump in first. Okay. This week, I have continued my death march through Blasphemous 2. I take it back, guys. Last week, I'm like, oh yeah, this is like the easiest game ever.
Yeah, you really were pumping how easy it was.
Man, it was. It was real easy. And then it wasn't. So I've definitely gotten to I'm in like the last stage of the game. And it's like the goddamn last stage of Blaster Master. I am like, what the fuck is going on? There's just blood and guts dripping all over the place, and it's just the hardest enemy after the hardest enemy, just all stacked on crazy platforms. It's awesome, but it's fucking brutal. So I'm having a good time with that. I hopefully will have beaten it next week. Next up, Skull and Bones. Yeah, I played a little bit more. I probably put another good 2-3 hours into it. I'm thinking that's the way that I'm going to interact with this. You know, when I'm feeling up to it, go play it for a couple hours and then put it back on the shelf. I had like this weird bug going on not the last time I played it, because last time I played it was fine, but just like randomly where like if you piss off the pirate guy that you work for, he puts a death mark on you. And like I was full on like Grand Theft Auto 3 fucking around and just sinking everyone. And so I logged off and came back a couple days later, and like this message appears that says your death mark has faded, and it like covers half the fucking screen to make sure that I guess you know that this happened. But as soon as the message disappeared, it popped up again, and then it disappeared and popped up again, and then it disappeared and popped up again. And it did this for like 10 minutes, and finally I said, I can't deal with this anymore. So I closed the game and I reopened it, and it just kept doing it. I'm like, well,
they fixed it.
Well, fuck.
They fixed it.
So just I left for a couple days and came back and then stopped doing it. So all's well. That was just so weird and random. It's just like the whole screen is like, your death mark has been relinquished. I'm like, all right, let's go back to pirating. Your death mark has been relinquished. Okay.
Thanks. I got
it. Your death mark has been relinquished. Okay. I can't see the guy. Your death mark has been relinquished. I'm just trying to cook the coconut in but your death mark has been relinquished. I'm just like, all right, fuck this somehow.
You made it 10 minutes for that shit, bro. I would have been like 45 seconds. Alt F4
I thought
reopen.
Because
it doesn't say it. It just has a noise. It's like
it was
like every time.
This big thing.
Yeah.
But no, Johnny, Kim, I thought I killed a lot of fucking people. Okay, I killed everyone. I killed all the sea people. I killed everyone the sea people were fighting with. I killed all the merchants. I killed all the Dutch. I killed everyone.
So to be fair,
so I thought
it had nothing to do with who you killed.
I just thought maybe it was going to give me a banner for every person I killed that I wasn't supposed to kill.
Okay, that's fair.
So I'm like, I'm just going to hang around for 10 minutes because maybe I piled up like 100 of these. I don't know. I killed everyone.
You're waiting on 100 notifications to pop.
No, it was a really bad bug that they had, and they fixed it. It is now. It is now.
I got to a point where I'm like, yeah, I deserve this. Yep, I did that. And then I got to a point where I'm like, Man, I did kill a lot of people, but I didn't kill this many people.
That's around what, the 6-minute mark?
Yeah. So I thought I was just taking it on the chin. Skull and Bones, having a good time with that. Next up, Helldivers, aka You Can't Play Me Q.
The fucking Q
Finally
Simulator
fixed.
2024.
It's finally
I
fixed
know.
as of today. So I'll finally get to have more fun with Helldivers 2. The game is really fun, but it's been a frustrating week. I guess I'm the fucking idiot because it's a live service game. It's the first week it's out, and I'm trying to play it. So I'm definitely the idiot here because I've seen this movie before and I know how it goes. And it's like when you watch the Titanic, right? And you're not 3 hours in, you're like just an hour one, you're like, maybe the ship won't sink this time. Maybe this time it's going to be different. And the Titanic doesn't hit the iceberg.
Poor Jack.
They were not expecting the game to blow up like it did.
No.
But the CEO has been so cool about it. Like, his response to everybody has just been, I mean, he is hysterical. He's really funny and he's really honest. He's like, save your money until the servers are fixed. Like, don't spend your money right now. If you're, if you don't have the money to throw around, don't spend it. We're working on getting things fixed, So, but they did. They fixed it, and I'm looking forward to finally playing it. I have yet to play it because I've just been on the seas.
Yeah, it's been a nuisance to try and interact with it, but
Yeah.
like so silly. The main thing was people logging in and not logging out. Because today they added this thing that boots you when you're inactive, and now everything's working.
Yes.
I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Somebody came.
All it was just hundreds of thousands of people just leaving their computers on and going to work.
Yep.
Somebody came into Dredge stream. What was it? Last night. And bitching. He was streaming Helldivers too. And the guy's bitching, yo, you fucking streamers and your streamer privilege getting into the game, making it so nobody else could play it. And I just typed to the guy, I'm like, yeah, dude, it's definitely the 5,000 people streaming it, not the other 445,000 people on the server right now. It's those assholes. No, it's just people not logging out, just trying to hold their spot or whatever.
Yeah.
And being little dickheads. So
yeah, I mean, for anyone that doesn't realize how colossally huge Helldivers 2 is right now, I just pulled up the Steam charts. Their peak players, this game's been out for what, a week? Their peak players is 457,649. Okay. The peak player count for Apex Legends, which has been out for what, 7 years, 8 years? Been out for a while. 5 or 6 at least. The peak player count on Steam for Apex Legends is 469. That's Apex Legends, which was like the biggest battle royale for a minute there.
Mm-hmm.
And Helldivers in 1 week, it's going to leapfrog it in the next 2 days. Like, it's going to pass that.
Well,
number
and that's just on Steam.
That's just Steam, correct. That's not talking about Xbox or PlayStation.
Well, there's no Xbox. But there's 55 million PS5s out there that people own. It's got to be twice that.
At least.
It's huge. So, good job, Arrowhead. You took a game that you already made, changed the camera angle. It's the exact same fucking game. It's literally the exact same game. And changing the camera angle was the secret sauce that you needed. So good job. Johnny, Kemp, I have a bone to pick with both of you. Okay.
Yep.
Here's my bone to pick.
Yeah.
We need to do better when describing amazing generational games that people literally need to stop everything that they're doing and play. And the game I'm talking about here is Alan Wake 2. Now, both of you said nice things about Alan Wake.
I said it was a masterpiece.
but nothing in how either one of you had described it to me previously felt that different from other games that you all consider good or that you enjoy. So I just want to say, you didn't say anything wrong, but I was not prepared, okay, to be playing something that's at the caliber of what I consider the greatest game of all time, The Last of Us. All right. Alan Wake 2 is on that level completely. Like this.
Wow.
I mean, I did say when I got done with the game, I said now I understand why it won so many awards.
It's
brilliant.
It's insane how good this game
Yeah.
is.
Yes.
Also, to the reviewers that wrote about this game, who said, you don't need to play Alan Wake or Control. It's from a different perspective. It's from Saga's perspective. You don't need to play those other games to understand what's going on.
I hate that.
They are lying. And I don't know why. You absolutely, if you haven't played Alan Wake, Control, and the AWE expansion, it's like as bad as if you were playing Final Fantasy VII Remake and never played the original Final Fantasy VII. Like, it's that level stupid. Where
that's how it to me, it's the equivalent of, I have a friend who was streaming BioShock Infinite, and I was like, oh, I wish I would have gotten to see you play through the first two. And he said, oh no, I was told I don't have to play the first two. I was like, no. Like, you have to stop right now and you have to play the first two. What do you mean? It blew my mind. And so when people say you don't have to play Alan Wake or Control and the AWE expansion, I'm like, what do you mean?
it would be like if somebody played Last of Us Part 2 and never played Part 1. You know, they'd be like, oh, who's that fucking asshole getting his face bashed in with a golf club? Fuck that guy. Some chump running.
He must be an asshole.
He didn't seem important.
Some chump running me through this barn. Fucking clown. Why is this other girl so pissed off? It's ridiculously good. And like when you're walking around the woods in the first level and there's that little shack and you see the FTC logo on it.
Oh, it's so
like,
cool.
Oh shit. And then later the doors open and the radio's going off and there's the big letters on the screen saying that an AWE is going down. You're like, oh my God. And then you run into Ahti.
My love.
If you didn't play Control, you'd have no idea. You'd be like, who's this asshole? And why is he calling me?
You would have no appreciation.
And why is he calling me Tom? And not understanding why that's amazing. Like, you would have no idea. And like, the thing that's really mind-blowing with Alan Wake 2 is how it just picked up 14 years later. Like, it didn't skip a beat.
Right.
Like, there was no hangover or nothing. It was just, whoop, right into this amazing sequel that the time that has transpired is part of the story. Oh, it's so good. There's nothing else. There's nothing on its level, man. I have a feeling when I get done playing this game that it's going to be goated if it stays at the level that I'm with it right now. So super happy I dove back into the Remedy universe. Super happy I played those games. It doesn't take long. And it's totally been worth it.
And that's
Alan Wake 2.
That's why I stopped on Alan Wake 2, because I want to go back and play through.
Yes.
I'm like halfway through the Alan Wake remaster, and then I got to blast through.
You played Last of Us Part 2 without playing Last of Us Part 1, Johnny. That is what has happened to you.
You started Last of Us 2. But I'm glad you stopped. And now you're going to go back.
No, that's the thing. I rolled credits on Alan Wake, the first one, and played 2/3 of Control. So I made every one of those connections that you just mentioned.
Okay.
All of those things made sense. But then the more you guys talked about, especially the DLC, I was like, I'm gonna stop.
Yeah, AWE only
And I'm
takes
gonna-
like 2.5 hours to get through,
It's
Right.
really short. Yeah.
and
it's really
it's
short.
So
all about
I-
Alan Wake.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you do that, then you can jump right back in and you're golden. Finally, I want to talk about this game called Return to Grace. Now Return to Grace is prominent right now because it just got put out on Game Pass. So if you're hearing about this and it sounds like something that you're interested in and you have Game Pass, you can play it. Not too long ago, I was talking and ranting and raving about a game called The Invincible. Well, it turns out, and I did not know this before, but The Invincible is clearly heavily influenced by a game called Return to Grace, down to fucking everything. Except, man, I really like Return to Grace. So here's the premise. It's a game about AIs that came out last year. So the timing is kind of cool, especially now that AIs have taken off so hard in the past few months. But it's a game about an AI. It takes place in the far distant future. And the AIs were basically worshipped, and it created a perfect society for mankind to live in. And humans basically treated them like deities. But something happened. The AI went away. The AI's name that was the deity's name was Grace. And humanity fell into a dark age for thousands of years. So you're an explorer who has figured out where Grace is located, and it turns out she's located on the moon of Ganymede. And you're there to try and find out what happened, what caused humanity basically being at a pinnacle of utopian existence to fall and descend back into the chaotic dark ages like what we live now. But their technology's finally caught up to a point that space exploration is a thing, and been able to land on this planet. And that sounds like it's a real serious game. It's not. It's got a lot of like really cute tongue-in-cheek writing. You meet an AI named Logic when you get to Ganymede, and then all these other AI personalities start coming out, and the banter between them is absolutely hilarious. So Logic is what you think Logic would be. Just completely logical, no fun, black and white. You're an idiot. Do this. Then there's another AI personality called Control, who just barks like orders at you. But it's done like in this like weird comical like pundit kind of way, where he's like, "You must return us to humanity. Please activate the beacon and tell humans where we are." So that's Control. Then there's Empathy. Empathy is where we're going to stop talking about this because Empathy is fucking hilarious. Empathy is the embodiment of empathy, and this AI controls the life support systems on the station in Ganymede. So to turn back on the life support systems, the only way Empathy knows how to communicate is through empathy. So she has like a Zen garden set up and has all these statues laid out, and you have to like walk up to them, and she goes, "All right, now you have to describe to me how each one of these make you feel. It's helping me calibrate the oxygen supply." Okay. And then at the end, she has you like set down on a yoga mat, and she's like, "All right, now it's time for breathing exercises." So like with your controller, you're doing like this interactive game to like do deep breaths and exhales and like yoga stretches and stuff. And finally she goes, "Okay, I've restored the optimal oxygen supply." And you're like, and then she gives you a flower, and you're like, "What the fuck is going on?" And then Control comes back on, "Stop wasting time with empathy. You must tell humanity." I'm like, so
this sounds
it's-
great. It sounds right up
it's
my alley.
all this like bickering between these cute different AIs that have different personalities, and then you start wielding them together to create new AI personalities.
Cool. And you said it's on Game Pass?
Dude, it's on Game Pass. It's super good. It's only a 3-hour game, so
Definitely
yeah,
I'm
look at that.
right near the
Yeah.
end of it. I'm gonna wrap that up after the podcast today, but
Sweet.
strong recommend Return to Grace. If you liked the Invincible, I imagine you will like this game a lot more. I love the Invincible, and I'm enjoying this game way more. I think this is just the bee's
Okay, cool.
knees. Um,
Okay.
right, Johnny. I'm sorry we've had you silent for a while.
No worries.
It's time to pass things back over to you, sir, and you tell us about what you've been playing this week.
Well, as I tend to do often, Ascendant Studios, I owe you an apology. Immortals from Aveum is fucking dope as shit. So I know I kind of corrected myself a little bit last week, but now I'm actually like invested, and I've really sort of clicked with it. I think the main thing in the very beginning that threw me off is that I wanted magic spells. Like I have fireballs and I have ice spells and I have like, that's what I wanted, right? And then when I get my green weapon and I shoot it, it's like, oh, this is the plasma rifle. And then I get the next one and it's like, oh, this is the shotgun. And then I get the next one and I'm like, this is the assault rifle. So the whole fucking game's just going to be assault rifle, shotgun, whatever, because they're like your three main gauntlets. And every time I'd go to my inventory, you had your red gauntlet, your green gauntlet, and your blue gauntlet. Well, that is not the case. You do have to have a red, a green, and a blue equipped, but the ones that you loot are different. Every one of them is a different weapon. It's just that color is the magic type. So, for example, you can get a javelin where you hold the button and you magically form a gigantic spear that you can then throw that does a ton of damage. You can get one that functions like a sniper. You can get one that functions like a fucking heavy gun. All of that shit is in the game. On top of that, I now have a full wheel of spells. I have a dodge and a grapple hook and fireballs and a wall of ice, and I have all the shit that I wanted. And this game's awesome. And the biggest piece of credit I have to give them is the gameplay. The gameplay is really, really strong. If you're a first-person shooter fan and you like, I feel like we don't get a lot of arena shooters anymore. And I would say that the frantic gunplay in this game kind of reminds me a little bit of Doom, like because it throws a fucking lot at you. This is not a I'm gonna hide behind the wall and like sneak out and shoot. No, it's oh my god, they're everywhere. What the fuck? And you're just throwing everything you can to get through it. But no, Mortals from Aveum is very good. I'm probably gonna beat it in the next week, maybe week and a half. But yeah, I think this is gonna come out at like probably like a strong like high 7s, low 8s range. But I'm really, really enjoying it. I did roll credits on Oxenfree. I talked about this a bit last week. If you like ghost stories, if you like short indie cinematic games that are just sort of telling a story, this is a very, very good one. And now I get to jump into the sequel, and I'm very, very excited. So rolled credits on Oxenfree. Now that I have taken down, let's see, 1, 2, 3 Prince of Persia games, we're now moving on to the 4th, which is Prince of Persia: The Two Thrones. Okay, beef number 1, Ubisoft. Can you please update your shit so that things work the way that they should? This shit is on your store. It's there. It's you're advertising it as a part of your subscription service. Yet, oh, what's this? This doesn't fucking work right. I've tried going into the settings. I've tried downloading profiles. I've gone to fucking forums. Everything I've tried doesn't work properly. So I'm back to mouse and keyboard on a Prince of Persia game. Yeah, not great. Not ideal. That being said, this game's fucking awesome. The combat is very polished and nice. For some reason, at some point, I turned into Wayne from Static X. I don't know why or how that happened or why that happened, but all of a sudden my character is like the black sand creature and has the hair straight up like Static X. I was like, okay, this is a thing. But dude, actually I'm really enjoying this game, and it does feel like the next logical sort of step up from Warrior Within, and it's nice to get back to what Prince of Persia kind of should be. Warrior Within was such a departure from the series that I didn't hate the game, but it did feel off. Two Thrones feels like a return to form, and I'm really having a lot of fun with it. And then I didn't really talk about it much, but Helldivers 2, I had a similar experience that Mike did. He told me last week that it might be the greatest multiplayer game ever made. So when I went, well, I guess I got to fucking buy it. So I bought it. And then I spent the next 6 days getting home from work, and I'm tired and I've had a long day, and I kissed the wife goodnight. And I'm like, all right, it's fucking Helldivers time. Let's go. And I fire it up, and the server is full. And I sit there for 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 minutes and eventually say, well, fuck that. I guess I'll play something else. And that's kind of been the last 5-6 days. I have put in about 6 or 7 hours in it. So I've played it enough to know that this game's fucking dope as shit. And it's just going to keep getting crazier and crazier as they start adding more planets and more struggles and more. We're going to have more enemies to fight. And I mean, this game's going to be fucking huge. I think it's just going to keep growing.
It is.
But
yes, so Sony has lightning in a bottle right now. They got what they wanted. They have their game as a service. So,
and what's funny is that I remember when these state of play videos were coming out, and I remember thinking, like, God, they really are pushing the fuck out of this Helldivers 2. Who gives a fuck about Helldivers? I mean, that was me in my head. I'm like, like you said, Mike, they've tried to give it to me 1,000 times. It's been on Steam sale for like $4 and shit. Never played Helldivers, never wanted to play Helldivers. And every time I saw the trailers, I'm like, yeah, it's the sequel to that game that I don't care about. But man, were they pushing it. And I guess now we know why. The game
word of mouth, I think, has done a lot for it too. People that checked it out and said, oh, you got to get this. So, very good. Kim, it is your turn. You are up. Tell us about the games you've been playing this week. You are muted, my friend.
Yeah, you're muted.
So sorry, I forgot I muted. I was making noise.
If you made any comments, then
No, I didn't. I've just been nodding and like listening.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
no.
I did notice she was really quiet. I think I noticed like a laugh, and I didn't hear anything. So.
So I've been playing Warframe as per usual. Got 3 of the frames I've been wanting. For anybody listening who likes Warframe, I finally got Ureli, who's like a water frame. I got Zephyr, who is airframe. What is so funny?
I'm just nodding my head like I know what you're talking about.
And I got Citrine.
I was smirking at the water.
This is an old.
Okay.
This is an old ism from me and Johnny's previous work at Guitar Center. There's this dude that if you were explaining something and he had no fucking clue what you're talking about, he would just be
or didn't care. Yeah, he'd give you the.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, I love it.
Anybody that loves Warframe's like,
I do.
Yes. And poor me over here, I'm just,
You're like, I don't know what Ureli is. No, I finally got Ureli, Zephyr, and Citrine, and so I've been working on Ureli, almost have her max. Next, I'm going to do Zephyr. Next,
stop,
anyway.
Johnny.
Okay,
are you making fun of my water? He makes fun of the way I say water.
No.
Okay. All right.
He derailed me into something else.
Oh, okay. I've also been playing a lot of Skull and Bones, which, by the way, look, you could do like the whole nodding thing. Look, it's better than what I do. My partner was here visiting, and he was trying to tell me something, and I was hyper focused, and I literally turned and I went, "Honey, I don't care."
It's like when me and Johnny start talking about Marvel Snap, I have to pinch myself and go, nobody knows what the fuck we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the face I make. So you guys are talking about it, and I'm like, meanwhile, my head's like, okay.
It's like, why is it Leech on reveal?
Although I did like watching Johnny stream it, and he was explaining stuff to me because I do like deck builders, so it was cool, like learning a little bit about it.
It's a really great card.
Yeah, it was fun learning. It was fun learning about. So yeah, I've been putting just a little bit of time into Skull and Bones. I have 61 hours in it. And I am
obsessed.
Completely hooked. But I am a little bit obsessed. I am still like, there are people who are like, literally, I've had people come into stream who are like, oh yeah, I'm Kingpin fucking 25? So high. And I'm like,
somebody came in and said the other day,
I just hit Kingpin 5. today, 6, right before stream, I think. I mean, right before podcast.
So is that
so
like
yeah,
is that like prestiging?
Yeah,
Basically,
she's in the
Yes.
end game.
Yeah.
Got it.
So it's really cool because then once you hit Kingpin is when the real fun starts, because you literally open up like a whole manufacturing trade route. And so you're manufacturing gin and rum and opium and you have all these trades going on, and it's really, really cool. And you're getting into these amazing like hostile takeovers. So there's a spot, like you'll get a thing, because the game doesn't have PvP unless you opt in. So you'll get a notification that there's a hostile takeover, and it's PvEVP. And so you go in and it's like all hell breaks loose, and one person's trying to take over this manufacturing facility so that they can take over the manufacturing of those goods and then smuggle them out. And while you're smuggling things, like if you have the things that you're smuggling, you have rogues all over you, and it's like up the game tenfold, and it's been so much fun, and I'm just loving it. And the new season starts Tuesday night. My Tuesday night stream is going to be the first day of the season. So that's going to be their first season, starts on the 26th at 7 p.m. Mountain, and I am so damn ready. I cannot wait. I'm so excited for it. But Johnny, have you played Skull and Bones already yet?
Yeah, I played the beta for like 2 hours, 3 hours, and was like, I'm good.
Not your thing?
No, it's not my thing.
Yeah, it's one of those games that I'm like, I can totally understand people saying no, not
If
my
I had
thing.
infinite time,
And
I'd
I
have played a lot more of it. But I'm squeaking it in where I can. I think it's really decent for what it is. It's
I'm really having fun with it.
It is a pirate MMORPG that really doesn't feel like this crazy time sink like World of Warcraft was. Like you can just kind of hop in and play with it for a while and murder, all the sea people and then log off and have a good time.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
like
cool. And there's different routes you can take. I'm doing like a merchant type thing. Like everywhere I go, I'm just buying low, and then I stop somewhere and sell high and all that type of stuff. So it's been fun. I've also been playing a game which I know it's Johnny's favorite genre. Is I've been playing a sandbox survival game.
Tree punching.
Fuck yeah, let's go.
This is a really, really weird one though. It's called Nightingale, and it's steampunk. It's very fantastical, very cool. I played two closed betas of it, and then the game just came out, and so I was playing some of it. No, I didn't play a whole lot. I just wasn't feeling it the other night. I just kind of was not in a sandbox survival mood. But it's a really beautiful game, and it's pretty. It's a really pretty game, and so it's nice. But yeah, it's definitely a lot of plucking, bush plucking, plant plucking, that kind of stuff. So
I will say, as much as I shit on survival games, I watched somebody stream this game for a little bit. It's a very pretty game, and I was very impressed with the building. The building seems very...
What I'm not impressed with it is it takes for fucking ever to do anything. Like, have you noticed that? Like, the progression curve on that game is so slow.
Yes.
Like you've got,
and even crafting things
you
is
have
slow.
to invest time into that, and like,
yes,
that's a big turnoff for me.
That game is a time sink. Yep. And so I'll pop on, I'll play when I feel like playing something survival, but I have to be in the mood, because otherwise my attention is like I am just gone. I just have zero interest sometimes. So, and then finally I am playing the last Riot Forge game to ever be made, which really bums me the fuck out. So I started playing Bandle, which is it's from the makers of Graveyard Keeper. That's the dev, Lazy Bear. So it's picture Stardew Valley, but with League of Legends lore. You're in Bandle City, which is where the Immortals live. Like all the little tiny fuzzy characters live in Bandle City. And yeah,
like
it's basic. What's that?
Like Teemo?
Yeah, Vigar, Teemo. Yeah.
Teemo's awesome.
So this is it's all set in Bandle City, and you make your own character, and there's little character customization. You can even pick your pronouns, which is adorable. And it's honestly, I popped in today and the music was absolutely fantastic. And the graphics are just what you'd expect. It's like nice little pixel based, cute little game. And I'm really excited to play more of it because it's just so chill. But it really is so bittersweet because I love Riot Forge games. And so to know that this is going to be the last one is like, why? I'm such a League fan and I'm such the lore of League I just absolutely love. And so the fact that they're taking away, some of the games based on some of the amazing champions that they've come up with is just such a bummer because,
It's getting reviewed pretty well too. Looks like so far.
They all have?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just people
Yes.
aren't buying them.
Yep.
They don't market them, and that's what I think makes me absolutely crazy. Whenever I talk about Riot Forge games, like people who love rhythm games, I'm like, you have to play Hextech Mayhem, and they're like, what's that? And I'm like, so my main in League for a long time was Ziggs. Now it's Bard, but I played Ziggs for a while. And Ziggs is this little Yordle who is the Dean of Demolitions, and he throws bombs, and he's an absolute lunatic. The only thing that makes him happy in life is blowing things up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I love him. He's a bundle of chaos and joy, much like me. And so there was a rhythm game that came out called Hextech Mayhem, and it's all based on Ziggs. And it was one of the most fun rhythm games I've ever played because the music was amazing. It's
awesome.
It's such a good game. Nobody knew about it. And then when people talked about, like a great, like, first person, or not first person, but a story-based RPG, with a great story and really nice game. I'm like, oh, you have to play Song of Nunu. Oh, what's that? And then side scroller, I'm like, oh man, like you talk about Riot Forge games, nobody knows what they are because the only place they advertise them is if you open up League of Legends, their homepage when they have a new game coming out will have an advertisement for that game. Most people playing League don't want to play these games, and they don't market outside of it. And it absolutely drives me crazy because I said to my son, I'm like, I did more marketing for Song of Nunu than Riot did, with as much as I streamed it and told people about it and talked about it on the podcast.
Yep.
And it's a shame because honestly, the games are utterly fantastic. And I love that Riot Forge teamed up with these little indie devs to like make this happen, to make all these games happen. And now
I
it's coming
love
to
the
an end.
JRPG, and I'm really bummed we're not going to get a sequel.
Yeah, I'm pretty bummed out. But anyway, so yeah, I'm playing Bandle Tale, and it's adorable. And if you like cozy games, kind of like Stardew, then I highly recommend.
Very good. It's time for One Up. That's right. This is the final segment of this week's show where we each pick one thing.
I just read what Shawnee wrote. It's February.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Where we each write one thing that we didn't talk about that we wanted to talk about here on the Power Gamer Podcast. I have mine. Today is Pacific Drive Day. And I have
Oh yeah, I want to try that.
Pacific Drive installed and ready to go. So yeah, I'm like, do I finish Return to Grace or do I hop right into Pacific Drive? I feel like I have too much going on to hop right in Pacific Drive because I got Alan Wake going on. I got
you got to Johnny Paulus that fucker. You gotta play Pacific Drive because it's new.
I got
it's
Is
new.
is that a survival game too?
No.
Pacific
Not
Drive?
no.
No?
It's not a tree puncher. All right.
Oh.
There's no tree punching. The trees are safe from your fists. But it's I guess it's got some elements to it. It's an adventure game with a car, and it's really cool. So I've been looking forward to this one for a long time, and I can't wait to play it. So that's my one up. Today is the day it was released. I guess this is some interesting information to pass along. On Instant Gaming and on CD Keys, you can buy the game for $18. It's advertised as the European version, and as many of you Americans know, you typically cannot activate European keys on your US Steam account unless you were to spoof it with a VPN, which is against terms of service, yada, yada, yada. Don't do it. That all being said, this European key you can activate on the US server. So buy it for $18.
I'm going to tell Pike to look into it. I'll tell Pike to look into it and see if I can
buy
get
it for $18 and activate it on your Steam account. You're welcome.
Okay.
Johnny, it's time for your one up, sir.
All right, so my one up. She's shaking her head because the subject matter is this holiday season and it's February. But
you didn't even think about the holidays.
It's topical because Nintendo has officially announced that the Switch 2, whatever it's going to be called, is not coming out this year. What we got? Sony's got no first party titles left this year. Nintendo has no Switch 2 that we know of. Well, no, didn't they say there are no more first-party titles this year? I thought
so. Nothing in the vein of God of War. Nothing in the vein of Horizon.
Right.
Major is what they said.
Right.
No Wolverine.
So, what's under the Christmas trees this year?
It's February.
I agree with Kim.
Fair enough.
I can't.
It just seems crazy that all these video game consoles that are in fucking head-to-head bloodbath war right now are just like, console's not gonna be out in time. It'll be out next year. That's my point. It's fucking February. You're not gonna have the console done by then? What?
Yeah,
you can't figure it out between now and then.
It's not go time yet. You know what I mean? We're not gonna learn about.
When is go time?
We start learning about what's coming out in holiday. Usually it starts around late spring, early summer. That's when you learn what's coming. Like if you look at the famous thing that I've shared with you guys for a long time, but the release calendar that Game Informer puts up, it's very good. I strongly recommend, if you want to keep up with game releases, you look at Game Informer's release calendar. I have it bookmarked for every year ever. It doesn't even go past October. So, and you can look in the list of to be announced games, which is just games that could come out that we just don't have the release date set for yet. It's stacked. So Christmas will be fine. We just don't know yet. But Johnny, to your point, no, we're not getting Wolverine this year. I mean, there's a whole separate story of what the fuck are all the PlayStation first party studios up to? When are we going to get a new Switch system? But we just had the Nintendo Direct this week that outlined a lot of their releases. So like, we know a lot of good stuff's coming, and the Nintendo player base, man, it hasn't died off.
I know it really hasn't, but it just feels like such a lost opportunity, especially for Nintendo with Sony coming out basically in January being like, we have no major first party releases. You would think that Nintendo, even if their original game plan was 2025, I still feel like that happens. They go, nah, we have to release this thing in November. We got to.
Yeah, I don't think Nintendo's feeling any pressure, man. They are so far ahead of everyone else. And people don't, like, on that platform, people don't care. You know, yeah. I interact with that platform, I'd say probably the most out of the three of us. I play a lot of Switch games.
Yeah,
I don't care at all. Don't care. It's the Switch. Like, the games I play there are just so well optimized for that system. It's just like, I don't care. We already got Zelda. Until we start needing the new Zelda game, I'm like, yeah, I don't care. That's fine. Take your time. Next year, no problem. I'll see you guys when I want to play the next 2D RPG. Which there's some really good ones coming out this year, so I'm so excited.
Sea of Stars.
I have it installed. It's in my bowl. It's in that queue for my time. Unicorn Overlord is the one. Like, if you guys haven't looked at that, Jesus fucking Christ, that game looks beautiful. Sorry, Johnny, I didn't mean to cut you off. Are you satiated? Did we get through your topic? Okay. All right. Kim, on to you. What's your one up this week?
Borderlands movie. That's an appropriate face. I wish everybody on Spotify could see that face. Listen, this is what I'm going to say about it. Will I watch it? Absolutely. So this is how I feel. I love the cast because I love those actors, but as much as I love Jack Black with every bit of my heart and soul, I don't think he's a good claptrap. It sounds like Jack Black, right? And Kevin Hart, I actually think that's a really funny pick for Roland. Kate Blanchett, I love her. I love her as an actress.
Okay, we don't have to fight. I was about to stop you there.
Why? Why?
Kate Blanchett is bae. They could cast.
Oh, I love her.
I was gonna say
so much.
For me, she's like another Tilda Swinton. You could cast her in anything. You'd be like, she's playing a man's role. I'd be like, that's great. Kate Blanchett's fucking awesome.
I love Kate Blanchett. I don't think it was a good pick for Lilith. Jamie Lee Curtis. Oh, we're not going to talk about Jamie Lee Curtis. That's yeah. Probably one of my biggest crushes. And I think she was, out of all of the picks for this movie, she was one of the better ones as Tannis. And then there's Ashley Greenblatt as Tiny Tina, and I don't know how I feel about it. I literally am like, I think it's going to be so bad, but I want it to be really good, but it's going to be so bad.
Who's
I don't
asking
think that it is.
for this? Who woke up and said, you know what would make my day? A Borderlands movie. That's what the fuck we need.
I mean, to be fair, the idea behind Borderlands and all of the lore and all of the story would make for a good movie. Honestly,
Agreed.
Literally, like Vault Hunters, that makes for an amazing movie.
I sent you a DM on Discord, by the way, Kim, that just was a highlight of my initial reaction to this that I posted over on Johnny's Discord page.
Can I quote this?
Yes, I'd be very pleased.
Okay. So Mike has the poster for Borderlands movie and says, I knew it sounded stupid, but seeing it on a poster makes me want to beat myself to death with a rock. And Johnny's response was, I'm fucking pumped.
That's Mike and I's relationship, dude. That's just like, I'm the silver linings guy. Here's the thing. Look, hear me out. Eli Roth wrote and directed this movie, and Eli Roth just had a big hit on his hands. His movie Thanksgiving not only performed very well, was very well reviewed.
Eli Roth is tough because he's a hit or miss. By the way, he was at PAX. When I was at PAX, I got to see him on stage. It was really cool.
I fully agree that Eli Roth is a hit or miss. You can just as easily go to his IMDb and point out the handfuls of piles of shit that he did 5, 6, 10 years ago. I'm not trying to say that he's Quentin Tarantino. However, I don't know. I saw the trailer and I thought it looked fun. I think the question I would ask both of you is, have you seen the Jumanji movie?
You know, I did.
The more recent ones with The Rock? And did you like them?
And I thought I was going to hate it, and I really liked it.
Yeah, they're great. They're fucking awesome, which is why I'm excited for this.
I only saw the first one.
But that's why I was excited for this. As soon as I heard that Kevin Hart was Roland, I was like, oh, they're just going to Jumanji it. It's going to be something like kind of family friendly, but sort of a little edgy, but like kind of funny and kind of like, I don't know. I think there's a place for this. I think they could have a fun summer movie.
I really am hoping it's good. I was kind of thrown off by the cast. Because again, I love them.
Yeah.
As individuals. They're some of my favorites probably. But it kind of threw me off. But we'll see. I'm still going to see it. We'll probably watch it as a community, be honest with you, in my Discord.
Yeah.
That's definitely a movie that would be perfect to watch as a community. But yeah, that was my one up is Borderlands movie.
I really like Eli Roth movies, ironically. I love The Green Inferno. I love Hostel.
Yep.
I thought The House with a Clock in Its Walls was fucking hilarious.
I didn't see that.
Cabin Fever's dope. I mean,
dude, Cabin Fever was wacky as shit.
The House with a Clock in Its Walls is the Jack Black as a warlock comedy movie. And
I never saw it.
It's fantastic. Like I really like Eli Roth movies, but every trailer I've seen which the trailer for those Borderlands movies, and all the images I
Right.
see,
Right.
it looks like a bunch of high school kids cosplaying as Borderlands characters that are like just bullshitting on the playground. Like that's what it looks like to me.
No, you're incorrect. You're wrong. It looks like a bunch of older people cosplaying as high schoolers cosplaying as
You're nailing it on the head.
Borderlands
Like it's
people.
something about this doesn't pass the eyeball test with me. And
I will say I had one very disappointing moment. I looked up to see who Mad Moxie is. And with every bit of my heart and soul, I was hoping it was Carla Gugino because she would be and granted, I forgot who it is, but it was somebody good for Mad Moxie. But Carla Gugino would be the perfect Mad Moxie.
Yeah, no, the girl that got from I will say that as far as the casting, I know I haven't made any casting complaints. Yeah, Moxie's not hot enough.
Carla Gugino would have been Moxie
needs to be like Fall Over Dead hot, and the woman that they got,
and that's Carla
that she's
Gugino.
Not attractive or that she's not pretty, but she's not like drop dead. Holy crap, gorgeous.
Yeah, I think Carla Gugino would have been like the way to go. For
I don't
Mad
disagree
Moxie.
with your selection, Kim, but I would also like to put forward as tribute Salma Hayek.
Yeah,
that was my dad's. Salma Hayek was my dad's favorite actress. Like that, my dad would literally almost.
I can only describe to you about 5% of Moxie's character model. I think Salma Hayek knocks that part out of the park.
Yeah, but so does Carla Gugino, but also has all the features. Like Carla Gugino could look exactly like Mad Moxie. I will have to take
your word for that. I don't recall very
anything but the boobs.
Much about Moxie.
Yes.
Other than her boobs are just like hanging out the entire time. You're like, what the? Very good. When does that movie come out? Is that soon?
It's this year. I
don't even know.
I mean,
nobody's going to go see it in the theater because people don't go to the movie theater anymore.
Movies are big here. People still go to that.
I think this year is gonna turn that corner between Dune 2.
Can't wait.
I think the Ghostbusters movie looks awesome. There's a lot of movies coming out this year that I'm really excited for.
Dune, I'm excited.
By the way, if either of you have not watched Ghostbusters Afterlife yet, you should.
I watched that with you.
Is it?
I watched that with you.
I like that movie a lot. Yeah, it is one of the better reboots.
Like August 9th. So
August 9th, yeah. So end of summer.
Yeah. I think Kim has the best take. It looks like old people cosplaying as high schoolers cosplaying as.
I didn't say old people. I said older.
Older. She said older. She did.
Okay.
Say yeah.
They're literally like my age. No, that's a lie. Actually, Jamie Lee Curtis is much older. So is Cate Blanchett.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's allowed to exist. Maybe somebody cares. It's just not me. Guys, great episode this week. That wraps things up. We hope you all enjoyed some of the changes we made. And we shall see. We will, of course, be back again next week with another great episode of the Power Gamer Podcast for you to enjoy. Until that time, I am Mike Dawson.
I'm Johnny Paulus.
I am Kim, addicted to Skull and Bones Ponticello.
Tune in next time. Take care.
Catch y'all the flip-flop.
Yeah.